Hey everybody, we're gonna make a quick video real quick. I was actually just doing some research for the weather, looking at crystal ball, but then this popped up in my search and I just feel like it was shown to me to show you. I want you to see how hard they are pushing this vaccine. Okay? It says UK vaccine summit calls for freely available virus. Yes, free. That's the whole thing, okay? This is what they want to do. They want to make it free to everyone because the ones that they want to hit the most are the ones that are poor. The ones that are, don't have money. You're elderly, you're poor, you're, etc., etc., okay? Those are the ones that we know they don't want still here. So let's read this, okay? And I just want you to listen to the amounts of money being put into this. London AP. A VICCINE summit hosted by Britain on Thursday raised billions of dollars to immunize children in developing countries as experts wrestle with difficult questions of how any potential vaccine against the new CV might be distributed globally and fairly. That's another thing that I keep seeing too. They keep talking about, well, when we get this vaccine, who gets it first? Where do we, who do we give this to? How do we be fair about it? And it just burns inside me because I understand that it's not that's just such a sick question because they know that it's hurting people, not helping people. And when they act like that, who should get it first? They're just sitting back enjoying it. The United Nations and the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement, the Red Crescent Movement, wow, have urged that a people's vaccine be developed for CV19 that would be freely available to everyone, calling it a moral imperative. Wow. Thursday's event raised $8.8 billion, exceeding its target for the VACCINES Alliance, GAVI, which says the funds will be used to VACCINATE about 300 million children. And guys, if that doesn't crush you, knowing what's in these, if that doesn't hurt you, I just don't know what to say. It's hard to even read that. 300 million children are going to be getting these things put in them, and we know what they cause. In dozens of countries against diseases like malaria, pneumonia, and HPV. GAVI also announced a new advanced market commitment mechanism to enable developing countries to get any affected CV19 vaccine when available. It hopes to raise an additional $2 billion for that effort to immunize healthcare workers as well as high-risk individuals and create a buffer of doses to be used where needed most. Yeah, wherever you want to hurt us. But high-risk individuals, yeah, how convenient, right, that they continue to change it. First it was elderly, then it was African-American, then it was this, then it was that. They're just going to continue to do this. That's the whole point. Keep it so vague, keep the lines blurred so that they can say whatever they want to say. But experts pointed out that the unprecedented pandemic, arguably every country will be clamoring for vaccine, may make efforts at fair distribution extremely messy. Just the words that they use here are frustrating to me. The worldwide scramble for masks and ventilators that erupted in the early stages of the outbreak, where France took over the country's mask stocks so they could be given to first responders and others, instead of the country, and the U.S. apparently paid off shippers to redirect ventilators to the U.S., are not encouraging signs that there will be much worldwide cooperation if and when a CVVACCINE is available. Okay, now I want to specify it right here. I want you to understand this. They're giving themselves outs. They are leaving doors open for them to be able to walk through and say, oh, well, it didn't work. This country did this, this person did that, and that's why you didn't get your VACCINE shipment, or vice versa. That's why you got so many more. My point is I've been seeing this ever since I've been covering any type of news when it has to deal with government. They leave themselves outs. They have to make sure, no matter what happens, they can come back and say, well, yeah, we told you that kind of stuff happened. What did you expect? Rich countries will most likely try to push their way to the front of the queue, leaving poorer countries at the back. And that's a problem. It's not a problem to you. You don't care about the poor people. All you care about the poor people is taking advantage of them, and we know the rest. I can't imagine any country saying Africa's need is greater than ours, so they can get the VACCINE first and will remain vulnerable. See, okay, now listen to that. That's, this guy from London, okay? And do you remember the Melinda Gates talking about how Africa was going to be completely devastated by this pandemic and that they were going to just be destroyed?
Worse it's going to be in the developing world.
It's going to be horrible in the developing world. And part of the reason you're seeing the case numbers still don't look very bad is because they don't have access to very many tests. So, look at Ecuador. Look at what's going on in Ecuador. They're putting bodies out on the street. You're going to see that in countries in Africa.
That is what I'm talking about. It's all just word lingo. It's just how they, try to direct you in certain areas by how they talk. And it's just ridiculous. Like, you have to see through this. Wherever these VACCINES go is where they want them to go. The urgency of finding a way to stem outbreaks was evident as Brazil reported yet another record number of deaths over the previous 24 hours, 1,349. Brazil's confirmed death toll of more than 32,500 is the world's fourth highest and is considered a significant undercount due to insufficient testing. Anybody else sick of hearing that word, insufficient testing, over and over and over again, so that they can say the numbers aren't right? Whichever way you throw the numbers at them, they can say it's not correct due to testing. India, meanwhile, reported a record number of infections, 9,304, with 260 deaths. So what? Infections mean nothing. 260 deaths? People die. People get sick. People die. People need to see this and wake up to it. And I know they are. I just hope we can continue to spread this information. As it tallies, the fatalities surpassed 6,000, and its number of infection rose to nearly 217,000, the world's seventh highest. Now, I want to say something right here. They continue to add the numbers up, right? The numbers are getting bigger, right? So that they seem more scary, and they seem more, where we need to pay attention to them. But did they ever specify that when they started counting these numbers was over 6 months ago? At least 5 months ago. 6,000 people have died in 5 months in the country of Italy, or country of India? Really? You really think that's a lot? Go and look up how many people die on average per country. You can look it up. People get sick and people die. That's just what happens. Neighboring Pakistan reported over 4,000 new cases and 82 deaths as it confirmed cases surpassed neighboring China, jumping to 85,264. The spike came weeks after Prime Minister Khan overrode warnings from experts and eased a lockdown. See, here we go. This is what it's all about. This is all about the second wave. This is all about everywhere throughout the world they're talking about, oh, we eased it too quick. We told you you couldn't have come out of your houses yet. We told you shouldn't have been unlocked from your homes yet. We told you this would happen. Now it's going to happen. And now with all the protests going on, it's just another easy way for them to say, due to the protests and the easing of all the lockdowns, we have no choice but to put you under full martial law and full lockdown, where you will not leave your homes at all. Now, I pray every day that that doesn't happen. But if you read the breadcrumbs and you listen to what's going on, you can hear that's where they're headed. Ahead of the VACCINE gathering, evil Bill Gates said there were potential solutions to the growing tide of the VICCINE nationalism, like when the CEO of Sanofi suggested the U.S. had a right to the first doses of any eventual VICCINE because of its significant investment. The key to that challenge is having scale and having factories all over the world that are making the VACCINES, including multiple factories in Asia, the Americas, and Europe, Gates said. Anybody else ready for him to be gone? He'll get his. Everybody knows he will be judged. He will spend eternity in hell. Gates acknowledged there could be some benefit to countries that funded vital VACCINE research, but called for a system of allocating doses to the most at risk and making sure that even the countries that can't compete financially for that access, that they considered their health workers and their elderly. Yeah, see, that's what they're saying. Like, no matter what, we got to make sure that we get it into the people that we want to get it into. They're going to make it look like, oh, it's immoral, you know, like we want to make sure everybody gets it equally. No, that has nothing to do with it. You want to make sure you get this medicine, this poison into whoever you want to get it into.
But we're going to have this intermediate period of opening up, and it won't be normal until we get an amazing vaccine to the entire world.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that he hoped Thursday's gathering would mark the moment when the world comes together to unite humanity in the fight against disease. It's just pathetic. Oh, I can't do so much more. It's so frustrating to listen to this over and over again, talk about how bad this is, and, you know, it's just not good. What is this a picture of? Is that a grave site? Is that what they're going to say this? Oh, please, Lord, don't be. Oh my God, it is. Oh, it says, newly dug, empty graves fill the São Luís Cemetery where CV-19 victims will be buried in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Thursday, June 4th. You know, it just, come on, everybody. Like, this is fear porn. You have no idea if anybody's even going into these graves, and if it is, that's probably just normal. You know, and if it's not, then we know they want it to be that way. But Michael Head, a senior research fellow in worldwide health at the University of Southampton, noted that in the past, such sentiments have not always been backed up by actions. It's one thing to make some sweeping statement about how important equitable access is, and then that we're all going to play nicely, he said, but in reality, that can be turned on its head in the weeks and months ahead. About a dozen VACCINE candidates are in early stages of testing in thousands of people around the world. So sad. Thousands of people are testing. A lot of these are healthy. There are no guarantees any will work. Wow. Thousands of people getting tested on. There's no guarantee any will work. Yet they continue to do it. But there's increasing hope that at least some could be ready by the end of the year. Oxford University is beginning an advanced study involving 10,000 volunteers. Oh, the U.S. is preparing for an even larger studies in July that involve 30,000 people, each testing different candidates, including Oxford's, and one made by the National Institute of Health and Moderna. I've done a few videos on Moderna. That's one of the worst pharmaceutical companies that there is. And this right here, look at Listen to Black Voices. This is not helping. I'm glad if they're doing them non-violently, but at this point, it doesn't matter. They are shooting tear gas into non-violent protest right now, okay? And we need to realize this isn't helping. You're falling into their plan of order out of chaos. VACCINE developers are worried about whether the virus spread is slowing enough in the U.S. and Europe that it will be hard to prove if their candidates really work. So later this month, the Oxford VICC-INE will be tested on 2,000 Brazilian volunteers in Rio de Janeiro and São Paulo, according to the UK ambassador to Brazil. The U.S. government also is considering test sites in other countries. That's nice, right? The U.S. is considering test sites in other countries, kind of like Africa's been the testing zone for how long? It's sad. Well, Oxford scientists say they are committed to making their shot available to all who need it at a fair price. Academic Whitworth noted that doesn't square with the rhetoric coming from British ministers funding it, saying UK citizens will be at the front of the queue. And the US has signed a contract with AstraZeneca, which makes the Oxford VACC-INE for 300 million doses. VACC-INE makers know they'll be judged if rich countries buy up all their supply. No, they won't, because nobody will know. They can do it. Thursday, AstraZeneca said it would provide 300 million doses of the Oxford VACC-INE to Gavi's new financial mechanism to try to ensure equitable access. The doses will be provided when the VACC-INE is licensed or pre-qualified by the WHO. They're already licensed. Look up the patents. I'm thinking very carefully what would be the best way to make sure that everybody will get a fair share of the supplies that exist as quickly as possible, and that in this fairness, we will not forget the unprivileged countries. From the human perspective, they have equal rights. No, this is just because they want to make sure they get it into the unprivileged. So they have to say these things so that when they are giving it all away to all the unprivileged, it looks correct. In the U.S., where a wave of protests is adding to concerns, there we go, I just said it, over a possible additional outbreaks, new cases have begun surging just weeks after many businesses were allowed to reopen. On Thursday, Vegas casinos and Universal Orlando were among those welcoming visitors. As of Thursday, more than 6.5 million people worldwide have been confirmed infected with the CV, and more than 386,000 have died. According to, guess who? According to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. What do you know? The actual number of infections is thought to be much higher. How about no, it's thought to be much lower due to limits on testing. Oh, man. And many asymptomatic cases. That's right, because you could have it right now, even though you've gone months with no symptoms, you're not sick, you're not nothing, but you could still have it. All right, we are going to end it there. Thank you all so very much. We are going to continue to cover these, all these topics. I am starting now on doing this on a daily basis and on an even larger scale than what I have been before. To be doing all I can cover all these topics. And whatever you all want me to cover, please leave in the comment section, and I will do my best to get to those and to make videos on them. My whole goal is just continue the discussion on these topics, and I think by doing that, we truly can wake up more people. I'm also going to cover the weather. That is something I've loved to do, and I will continue to cover the weather throughout the world as much as I can. And we'll get this information to everyone, okay? I need you all to share this information. We must share this information. If you appreciate my work, please hit the like button and please hit the alerts. And I will make sure I continue to get all this information to you. Thank you all so much. Stay strong, stay safe, no fear. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.